Okay. Yes. So yeah, just go back the whole, start to see the whole paragraph. Yeah, more of it. Okay, yeah, there. So okay, so let's see. First, this sentence that you have following the Uganda's economy and its system, this called for a higher school dropout. That sentence is needs to be written. Maybe you can discuss with your group, and if you're the only one writing, you need to improve this wording.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you see how to put it in. There's something that's not right with it.
Yeah, sure. I need to mark this.
Yes.
Okay,
Drop off following many factors ranging from that whole sentence. You improve it.
Yeah.
And that paragraph, were you writing alone?
How is my colleagues?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You highlight those. You need to say it in a different way. It's not clear what you want to say.
Sure.
Though when you explain, I get what you're saying, the problem or the issue is, but the write up.
Yeah, I'm seeing a mistake up.
Need some improvement. And then this paragraph is, you said you sorry, scroll down. You scroll down. Okay, this one where I begin according to that article. So now though we write academic work, you don't have to give us all this detail that according to article published in Science Direct, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All we want is according to Riley 2021.
Yeah.
There was incomes of households fell by 60%. You get it?
Yeah.
It's not like how you are writing in the newspaper. Otherwise, I like that your title is clear. You're saying you want to see school dropout. Actually, you see the thing with research. You don't even begin from the position whereby you're saying it has increased or whatever. You've mentioned the reasons for now in your background. I'm seeing you have reasons why there's a high rate of dropouts. So just you want to assess the impact of COVID on the dropout rate. You get it?
Yes, I can.
That is different when you say it's high. There are factors, but now you want to say it's high. But okay, let's go down. Let's go to your aims.
So if you could scroll to the aims, here, the aims and objectives was to ensure sex education to the young children. Maybe, most of the children have dropped out because of early pregnancies, most especially in rural areas. So some of the aims and objectives is to ensure sex education to get that problem solved. To make sure school children who have already dropped out can get back to school regardless of the past experience. So this point basically looks at how best can even those who got pregnancies, who dropped out due to financial incomes, we can look at ways maybe they can get scholarships.
Okay. Okay, so now, so those things which you're mentioning, yeah, those are not research, those are not like research things, those are not researchable. You're proposing a solution. And that's not like what we do when we are starting. Or let me put it this way. Like what you say that you shall provide sex education. It's like you're trying to manage the issue that there was a COVID happened, there was a high school dropout, therefore this is what we need to do for the children, all those who dropped out. But that's not how the research is. It's not like you're trying to solve the problem. We want new knowledge. That's what we want. in research. And the new knowledge can be used later to solve the problem. But while I'm saying it that way, this sentence that I've just said is not like it's always true, but for this particular case which you have, the way you've stated it, is we are looking for new knowledge. We are not going to solve this. You're not going to go and carry out sex education campaigns now for the children, are you? No, you can't. Those are things that you can propose to be done after you find out the factors that led to school dropouts due to the pandemic. Are you getting this all?
Yeah.
Or you're not?
Yeah.
Is anybody else in Saul's group?
Yeah, I'm getting the point here. So I think I need to.
You first come down before even we continue. So at the moment you have 2 aims and objectives.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 sections for that. It looks to me like this main objective, fine, reads beautifully, not beautifully, but at least it kind of comes well after your problem statement. What you just said, this part here of aims and objectives, you can just remove this. What you just read for us, you just remove it. That one, you highlighted it for removing, and then continue down, and I see this other, continue down and I see this other part. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you need to improve, or you shall get first specific objective to study literature on the factors that contribute to school dropout, then collect data on. But for now, what I'm seeing, your current main objective, that one where you've put that cursor, is about factors. Your title was more that you want to see the increase in numbers. This second, what you have may be better than the other one. I don't know if you're going to get those numbers. Are you getting my point?
I beg your pardon a bit.
Your title looked like you're going to get numbers. You see the school dropout rate before COVID and the school dropout rate after COVID. And then you see how it has led to an increase. But yet that's not what you are doing. This other objective now looks like you just want to see the things that have brought about the high increased dropout rate due to COVID. You get it? Yeah, such that it is better. What your current main objective is better. It's easier for you to research about, though you need to move this. Come again? Yeah, though you okay, and suggest solutions. Okay, yeah, fine, that's also okay. So you can work with this one, you change the other title.
Yeah.
Okay. Now quickly on your methods, okay. So this numerical methods does not work with your kind of work. It's a purely quantitative method. It just won't work. I take it, I know you have not yet understood it very well. You go read up about it, you'll see it doesn't fit well. What you have so far fits. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I can see yeah, I can see you're starting off, but that's okay.
So
yes,
we use those methods. The mixed
research those
method.
Ones what you have now can work. Your current methods can work. Yeah. You just go do a good literature review on school dropout rates. And
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, things that can be done. Yes, improve the wording and the referencing.
Yeah.
All
right. Thank you.
But I commend you. At least you had a recent piece of literature, which is nice.
Yeah.
If you had to see that Paul cited that piece of work, you might find other useful literature.
Yeah, it was surely nice. I also,
I beg your pardon?
it was nice.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sol, for sharing.
All right. Thank you too for listening.
Okay. So anybody, any other group that is ready? Okay, Sol, you may lower your hand. Just a minute, Sol, are you the class captain? Are you Sol the class captain or class rep?
I'm the one.
Ah, okay. All right, nice to meet you online. Yeah, an online meeting slide. Okay, so thank you, Sol. Other groups? Ronald, did you present yesterday? Remember yesterday we spoke a lot and you're supposed to start today with a question. I wonder if we presented yesterday.
I'm going to present.
You're good? I beg your pardon?
I'm the next to present. Let Moya share the screen.
Okay. All right, fine. You can get ready.
Good afternoon, madam.
Leonard, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yes.
Our concept paper is based on the topic of examining the homeschooling experience in Koga district. The background, it says that COVID-19 pandemic has triggered new ways of conducting the teaching learning process online. For some, this has been a small move, but for others, it's a completely new way of education. Most nations have already initiated learning in their schools. Many schools and governments have adopted the new mode of learning with varying degrees of success. Many progressive schools have already done a lot of the adoption of technology in their schools, which helps in quickly transitioning to an online mode of teaching during the current crisis and its significant success. Governments are encouraging online and home learning for learners by providing learning materials, teaching through radios and television in some instances. There were even attempts to provide each home state with radio and television sets for its viewing. These learners live in remote locations, work full-time, and can only study after work and learn independently. The minimum requirement for teachers and students participating in an online course is to access a computer or laptop, the internet, have enough data, and the motivation to succeed in a non-traditional class. Homeschooling in rural areas and urban areas, which involves teachers, learners, and parents.
Ronald,
yeah?
Somehow your volume is low. It's like you're far away from something.
Homeschooling in rural areas and urban areas, which involves teachers, learners, and parents to a larger extent. And it involves use of electronic devices like tablets, phones, laptops, television sets, and radio cassettes to access education services through online classes and exams, tutorials, and assignments. There I move to the problem statement. Limited access to the technology needed to successfully implement distance learning and homeschooling in rural areas. When I move to our aims and objectives, the general aim is to examine homeschooling experience in Chiboga district, which is a rural area.
Okay, Ronald, just before you continue, now your problem statement is different from your aim. Your problems, your general aim is broad.
Yeah.
You want to examine, it looks like it is descriptive. You're going to, from your general aim, it looks like you're going to carry out an exploratory study. Remember, I used that word before, exploratory, more like you're going to look at so many issues surrounding homeschooling.
Yes.
But your problem statement has concluded that there's limited access. You get it?
Exactly.
So now,
yeah,
yes, but yet it narrows down and concludes and ends the research. You see, with research, how do I put it? What you want as a problem statement, for example, now for you exactly who has focused in already in Chiboga, a problem statement would sound like this. COVID came and children were forced to adopt distance learning and homeschooling. This especially happened in Chiboga. However, homeschooling and this experience was new for so many parents and students. There is a need to find out, to study this experience and to understand whatever challenges we are faced. Have you heard how that sounds? Then your general aim can come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, madam, what if I say that my general aim is to find out whether learners in Chiboga district received the radios and the TV sets that were promised by the government? Can it work?
No, now you've narrowed it very much. If that's what you want to do, then first of all, you'd go back to your title and then focus on the radios, and then your problem statement becomes the government, all learners were supposed to have received radios, but they never received. Now, okay, general aim to, what did you say again? Find out if learners received radios. No, that wouldn't sound good. Why are you coming from the whole homeschooling experience to radios? Because at the moment, radios would be covered under what you're going to find out or what you're going to study. You're going to investigate. You get it? Your issue of radios, it would be one of the things you investigate. The access to the radios, or how effective the use of the radios were. However, if all you want to look at is radios, then you rewrite the write-up starting from somewhere up. And then the problem statement will be focused on the radios. And then your general objective would be okay about the radios. Though I don't know why the radios, no TV, there's no TV in Chiboga. Why is it you only want to focus on the radios?
The radios are okay, they are effective, they can reach everywhere compared to the television sets.
Okay, so now you want to study what was more effective.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, then you have because the problem changes. Let me just say, you stick with this, your current side of the story. Because I'm not seeing why you want to narrow it down so fast now. Because before I thought you're going to look at the different factors. But okay, fine. If you want to do radios, do radios. I'll be waiting to see a new document that now has radios.
No, as in my problem statement,
Hmm.
you were saying that limited access to the technology, in which a radio falls under technology.
Yes, but you see, again, I told you, you don't conclude at the start. You see, your title was nice when you say you want to look at the homeschooling experience, the study of homeschooling experience in Chivoga. In there is where you'll find out that there was limited access. You're starting with a sentence that should be informed by the data you want to collect. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, so you're more like tying your hands before you can start working. You're over narrowing down. If you are to go to look at study the experience, then under technologies or under your section of your survey that has technology, you see what technologies were there and how effective they were, or if they were received or whatever. All these are things that you tell us from the data you collect before you now come and conclude them. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yes.
So now you don't tie your hands before you start. Now, in your specific objectives, now you don't have to put all those. I don't know, it looks like you got all this from what I put in the class in that topic. They don't have to be there. You focus on the objectives that are tied to your work. You get it?
My topic, yeah.
Yes. Because when you say, for example, assess effectiveness, that has a certain quantitative, it sounds like you're going to measure something. Yet your title is, you're just going to examine, even to study. Now, you first go find some better wording. Instead of examine, you find maybe study. Find another word for find out. Remove, find a better word for find out.
Okay.
But I like that you've scoped already to your area. Are you in Chivoga?
Actually, I was there a few days.
A few days.
Yeah.
Will you be able to collect data from there?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see your methodology.
This study will adopt,
Okay, I've seen it. Okay, all your group mates, none of them is going to be in Chivoga, because it makes sense if you're in Chivoga, you interview people, it will make more sense for your research.
Yeah.
Is it a place you can access?
Yeah, we can easily access it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Then that is okay then. If you can easily access it, you've scoped just okay. You just make those few corrections. I don't encourage you to go the radio way unless if you want to do radio, at least you say ICT. So that radio is there and TV, and you can compare. You have something that's not too
okay,
tight.
madam.
Okay, Ronald, thank you.
Thank you for listening, madam.
Okay. Julian, you'll be next. You can get ready. Okay.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Umar. I'm going to be representing my group members.
And Nancy. Oh, I was making noise for you, the class, but I muted myself.
Hope you all seeing our topic of study up here.
Okay, who is talking? I'm seeing Julian, but Ronald. Okay,
Yeah.
close. Ah, okay, but wait a minute, Ronald. Ah, no, this title is too broad. It doesn't say exactly what's going to happen. Okay, you tell me what you're going to do. You tell me what's the, how does it?
Yeah, basing on the problem statement. I will not read all, but the study aims at assessing the impact of closure of schools to the female students between 2020 and 2021.
Then
So
your title should, just a minute, you Ronald, then your title should capture those. For now, it's too blank, too plain. One doesn't know what it's going to happen. You want to assess impact on female students. So you specify on the female, which female are we talking about? Okay, especially the female. You put it that on female students. You get it? Okay, but you can continue.
So here's the background. Hope everyone can see. I will try to summarize.
No, it's okay. You can move. We have.
Yeah. So when I come to the objective, our main objective is to assess the impact of closure of schools and learning institutions on female students in Uganda between 2020 and 2021. So the specific objectives, one is to ascertain the effects of school closure on other different stakeholders such as the teaching and non-teaching staff, parents, and other beneficiaries, plus the economy as well. Secondly is to identify the different innovations and inventions brought about as a result of closure of school, especially by those ones employed in the education sector. Thirdly is to identify the various methods brought about in a way of continuing studies without accessing the school premises physically. So when I come to the scope, the geographical scope, the study will be centered on Bukwe district, majorly the Bukwe district constituency, because of the limited time and resources and funds. So the target audience of the research are the young adolescents and the youth between the ages of 13 to 26 years in school. So when I come to the theoretical scope, the research for the project will mainly be focusing on the education sector only. When I go down to the research significance, the data from this research or study will provide a comparison between the negative and the positive impacts of closure of schools on female students in Bukwe District South constituency between 2020 and 2021. So the results of this study will be of great benefit to the following. One is the Ministry of Education.
Ronald, before you can continue,
Yes.
let's first go back up. Just go back up. Now, first, when you say the data from this study will provide a comparison, it's more the outcome or the findings will do this. So you cannot say provide a comparison, because the comparing should be the job. The comparing should happen as part of the research. But what you, I don't know whether you want to say that the data will provide a good picture to see the impact of school closure on female students, but you don't use that wording that you have to provide a comparison between negative and positive impacts. You find another way to phrase that,
Okay.
depending on exactly what you want to say. And then you don't
Okay.
have to put theoretical scope. You already said it. You have the scoping is clear. Maybe I can just say to class, it's not like every time you should have geographical theoretical scope. It depends on the type of research situation you have. And also it depends on if at the start your title is very broad, and so you need to scope. But in this case, you already said it's females, so you stick to that. The target audience is young females within this age, fine. Now you don't need a theoretical scope, you can remove it. And just to go back up, I see if there's any comment I missed. Yes, now when you come, after you've done your problem statement, one doesn't understand why or how you come and talk about the different innovations or the various methods. These are your specific objectives. It's kind of not clear how it comes out, how they come about. Because before you said you just want to study, assess the impact of COVID on the girls. So, unless, yes, I would want to understand how come you have those three there. Do you get my question?
I beg your pardon?
That your specific objectives, it's not clear how they are tied to the general one. But okay, fine. You give us.
They are not clear.
Yes, how the specific ones are connected to the general one. But also, sorry, you seem to be changing. You change the view. You put yourself in outline view. Anyhow, you can deal with that. To identify the different. Okay, you first leave them as they are. You first leave them as they are. You go think about my comment and see if it makes sense for you. Okay. You go down to the methodology and you see, you don't have to go through the score, the research significance. You go to the methodology.
Now, when we come to the methodology, so this section gives a detailed description of the tools, the instruments, approaches, processes, and the data collection techniques, plus the technologies that will be used to achieve the objectives of study. So both the secondary and the primary data collection methods are to be employed to obtain the required data for the study. So the population for the collection of primary data included Buyukwe institutions, as well as the senior officials of relevant government institutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
For now, we don't you don't talk in past tense that it included, unless you got this work from somewhere. Did you get this work from somewhere?
No, not really. Maybe.
Not really. Did you base it on some other paper? Is there somebody who did this kind of study before, so you kind of get basing your work from theirs?
Not really.
Okay. Do you know what, okay, do you understand what is in this paragraph that you just told me? When you say the secondary and primary data collection methods, do you know what that means?
Yes.
What does that mean? Just give me a minute.
Um, I think we can continue.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so I was trying to ask you, just to be honest, because I don't know if you know what those words mean. Do you know what those words mean?
Yeah, actually, the primary, you asked about the primary data collection methods and the secondary.
Yes. Hmm.
For the primary, this is where we need to collect the raw facts, maybe the data,
Okay.
where we go down and get the data, which is not actually processed or validated from the community. Then for the secondary,
Hmm.
we're going to maybe the newspapers,
Okay.
the television, the
Hmm.
television headlines, yeah, and plus the magazines.
And the magazines. Okay. All right, fine, Ronald. You make those corrections that I've made, and you can go ahead. Ronald, are we clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay, that's good. Sorry, am I talking to Akram? You see, he's not reassuring, but I was talking to Akram.
You were talking to Umar.
Umar, you see, all right, that's all the big confusion. Okay, sorry, Umar, what you do next time, if like you're using somebody's machine, you just put your name there so that I can know who it is that I'm talking to. Okay, Umar, thank you. Umar, let me just have one more look at your title. Yes, just go back up a bit. Oh, yes. So that title I said is too broad. I think I made that. Okay. You focus it as focused as your problem statement is. And then begin with the background as opposed to problem statement in your write-up. You get me?
Yes, I get.
All right. Okay, thank you. Okay, one of you asked me about the APA referencing, if it really matters whether we use 6th or 7th. For now, it won't matter. It won't matter if you're using 6th or 7th, as long as APA. Okay. Okay, can we have the next group? Okay, as of yesterday, Lydia, Philip, and Jeremy, you were supposed to get us started today. Are you there? Yes. Oh yeah, that Martin Philip. Are you the one yesterday you had said you wanted to present? And I'd said you start today. Are you the one, Martin Philip? I don't have anybody. Oh, the hand was by mistake yesterday. Okay, fine. Okay, so are we all done presenting? Okay, Philip, you type the name of your group before I present it. Okay, I'm just here entering this information about your groups as I see those who haven't yet presented. Fiona, did your group present? Harunji, Fiona.
Yes, madam, we presented.
Okay, just give me a few minutes to just put this information together, and then I can start another topic. I just want to make sure all the groups are presented. So can you just unmute yourself and remind me what your topic has been? Hello, Sol, are you there? Can you just unmute and remind me what your topic has been? Is there any group that is represented by Bruno? Bruno, Nagai, Lillian, Shimoli Godfrey. All right. Looks like Soul dropped off. Okay, fine. Let's get ready for our next part. I see many of you have not yet presented. All right. So we're going to continue now with our learning. Please, I wanted to make sure we all have an idea and we are all working on our projects. Just let me know in case the noise in my background is too much. I move away from where I am, find a more quiet place. Okay, I was keen on asking Guma some questions. I just wanted to be sure, not presenting to us other people's work, but Guma knew what he was talking about. So now that's the part we're going to cover. We're going to look at the different data collection methods. Any of your colleagues who have dropped off, they better come back. Or you better tell them that we have continued learning so we get back on. I think we're still having presentations. All right. So the last time we looked at research methods, and in there, each of those, the research methods have different ways of collecting data. So data collection methods are different from research methods, but they are a subset. They are a subset of research collection methods. Just want to be sure that I am recording. All right. So today we're going to be able to describe the different data collection methods, and we're also going to look at something called research validity and how it is achieved. Now, today was supposed to be the last day of these presentations. Then the next time I'm expecting presentations that include up to literature review. So Bongomin, did you people present? Why? So do you want to present now? You're not yet ready. Okay. The other presentations will be next week. Okay, so I was saying that today I'm also going to look at research validity. Now, it would be good if many of you were around, because research validity is a topic that is a bit different to understand. But can you tell your colleagues to come back, because it's actually an important topic and I won't be going back over it again. So if you can just tell your colleagues to log back in. But okay, so we begin data collection. We all have an idea what data collection is. Okay, we all have now should be having an idea of what data collection is. It's the process of gathering raw facts or evidence about a subject of interest in a systematic way that enables one to answer stated research questions and evaluate the outcomes. So basically, data collection is that you're going to collect now these facts. It can also be defined as gathering information, figures or words or responses that describe some situation from which conclusions can be drawn. So you have data, and you shall use it to make some conclusions. And there are usually two types of data that we collect. We have primary data and we have secondary data. So primary data, this refers to raw data that is collected about a phenomenon of interest from the specimen of interest. And we shall look at the different primary data collection methods. In secondary data refers to information or processed data that is reported in scholarly materials. Sorry, I was trying to find a more quiet background. Okay, so I've just explained what primary data is. It refers to raw data that is collected about a phenomenon of interest, while secondary data refers to information or processed data that is reported in scholarly materials. Secondary data is collected through literature review or archival research method. So in secondary data, you have information that was already there and that you get. So primary data is raw data in that it has been collected by the researcher specifically for the study at hand. Examples of information from primary sources include interviewing community inhabitants to find out their attitudes towards health services, using questionnaires to determine the level of job satisfaction of employers or employees in an organization, observing student behavior in class, that kind of thing. That is what we mean that it's primary. In conclusion, primary sources provide first-hand data, while secondary sources provide second-hand data. So with the secondary sources, that data was collected for another study, but now you use it in your study. While with primary sources, that data was collected in this study. Okay, that I've explained. Examples of secondary sources include use of population census data to obtain information on the age versus age sex structure of a population, or use of organizational records, use of hospital records, collection of data from sources such as journals, magazine, books, and periodicals. So again, the key thing being that this data is not collected by you, the researcher. You find it and use it. So now there are different data collection methods. And we said that data collection allows us to systematically collect information about our objects of study and about the settings in which they occur. And then we have data collection tools. These are instruments that are used hand in hand with the data collection methods to collect or retrieve the data. So you have a method and the method has tools. This is what we mean. So a data collection method, questionnaires, and the tools is the questionnaire itself, pens or pencils, or an online platform for dispensing the questionnaire. So, but the method is administering written questionnaires. Then you can have a method or technique called interviewing, and the tools are an interview guide being some questions. They're just questions that you will ask, you shall use to ask. Then you have a notebook, you have a pen, you have a recorder, a voice recorder, like what you see the newspaper, the journalists do when they're trying to get information from somebody, phones. And then you have a method of observation, and the tools are the eyes and other senses, pen, the paper. You also have an observation guide there, which will guide you to say that, as you're observing, look out for this one, look out for the other. That's what we mean. You might have a microscope or camera, anything that is going to help you observe. Even a recorder. Yeah, that's the camera, video camera. Or video recorder. Then using available information. And now this is for the secondary data. And that is the tools data compilation forms or checklists. So you have this data and you have a form to help you guide you as you're looking for what you want within that data. So other data collection methods and their tools, you have library search or literature review or archiving. This is a method, that's a data collection technique used for the secondary data. And if you're to do a literature search or you're going to do a literature review, you need a plan. You need to plan your review, how you're going to review this literature. Yeah. Then if you're going to do interviews, you need to have an interview guide, that's a tool, or you need a way of audio recording and video recording. If you're going to do a questionnaire survey, you use a questionnaire. Observation is observation guide, audio recording, video recording. And then we have also the focus group discussions. These require you to have a detailed agenda of what the group will do. And you can use the various tools such as flip charts, audio recording and video recording, pens, notebooks, etc. So those are the methods that we use to collect this data. But of course, you could have others. If you're doing experimentation, the way you collect the data will be different. It will depend on the type of experiment, if it's a scientific experiment. But most of what you're going to do, you shall be using any of these techniques. Oh, we have a small video to watch, but maybe we do that before we do that. So the data collection methods that we use will depend on the type of data. And so for the secondary data will be from the secondary sources, and those are the documents. That's an example of them. For the primary data, we shall either be observing, interviewing, or using a questionnaire. The questionnaire can be mailed, it can be administered. Oh, sorry, just a minute. Okay. All right, sorry. I was still talking about these methods. So observation can be participant or non-participant. By participant means you, as you're observing, you participate in whatever they are doing. Or non-participant is you just observe, you don't do anything, you're not part of the process. This can be especially for either the ethnographic methods. If you're with the people, you may participate with them in whatever they are doing, or you may just observe and you're not participating with them, what they're doing. You're observing them having their cultural dances, you may dance along, you may not, that kind of thing. Then the interviewing may be structured. That means you have questions, clear question guide. Or it may be unstructured in the sense that you just talk and the conversation flows and you just keep asking one after the other and tying the questions together. Then it may be semi-structured. That means some questions, some clear questions, and then it's also a natural flow, a conversation, that kind of thing. Okay, then the questionnaire may be emailed. It may be now online, like on a Survey Monkey or some platform that is for administering questionnaires, or it may be administered physically. That means you ask people, or you give them and they answer and give you back those ways. So the questionnaire is a written list of questions, and the answers to which are recorded by respondents. In questionnaire, respondents read the questions, interpret what is expected, and write down the answers. Unlike an interview guide, in which the researcher may explain the meaning of questions. In the case of questionnaire, there's no one explaining the meaning of questions to respondents. Therefore, questions in a questionnaire must be clear and easy to understand. The questionnaire may be administered in different ways. One of these is mailed questionnaire. So one approach for collecting information is to send questionnaires to prospective respondents by email. Obviously, this method presupposes that you have access to their address. One of the major problems with this approach is a slow response rate. So people may get the email, but they won't respond. Then you have the collective administration. One of the best ways of administering questionnaires is to obtain a captive audience, such as students in a classroom, people attending a function, people assembled in one place. This ensures a high response rate, as you will find very few people refusing to participate in your study, but of course you can find them. Yeah. Then your questionnaire should have a cover letter, and these are the contents. More like the cover letter is the first thing. So you have to introduce yourself briefly and the institution you're representing. You describe in 2 or 3 lines the main objective of the study. You convey any general instructions, what people should do. You assure respondents of anonymity of the information provided to them. And you provide a contact number in case of questions, and you thank them for their participation. So that's the cover letter. You say, I'm so and so, I'm going to be doing this study to understand how homeschooling has affected blah, blah, blah. Please answer the questions this way. And then you say this information will only be used for academic purposes, and it will not be, and it's an anonymous questionnaire, things like that. So what are some of the advantages of questionnaires? They are less expensive to administer, mostly if the collective method is used. They're able to collect information from a large sample, and they offer greater anonymity, as in people don't put their names. They have limited application just for a few situations. They lack an opportunity to clarify issues. That is different from the interview. The interview, since as we're talking, you can make it clear. For the questionnaire, somebody is not with you, so they wouldn't know. It's not possible to consult others when the respondent is answering. It's not possible to consult others, because that can be both an advantage and a disadvantage. Then spontaneous responses may not be possible, mostly if it is a mailed questionnaire, as in somebody cannot just answer. If it is mailed, they will send it back and that's it. Even if they think of something later, they wouldn't give it to you. So the questions in a questionnaire can be framed in a number of ways, or there are two main ways. We have what is known as closed-ended or open-ended. So in the closed-ended question, the possible answers are set out in the questionnaire, and the respondents tick the category. So here you have the answers already, and it's all about ticking. Please tick the type of research you'd love to undertake. You tick. That's a closed-ended. The open-ended questions, the possible responses are not given. The respondent writes down the answer in their own words. Explain how homeschooling has affected you. How has it been like dealing with the children, that kind of thing. Now, these two types of questions serve different purposes. For the closed-ended, let's say you have some factors and you want to know which one is liked the most, or yes, the most suitable, is the most correct. You can use this one and you can get from their answers which one is most. The open-ended questions are also they're used a lot in qualitative research, where you want to know the why and the how of things. So you write a question such that somebody can explain very well in their own words. The wording and the tone of your question is important, because the information and its quality largely depend on these factors. So in your writing, it is very important, because it will determine what kind of answers you will get. There's some few considerations to take in mind. Always use simple everyday language. Take extra care to use words that your respondents will understand, as you might have an opportunity to explain the questions to them. So don't use such a complicated sentences. Anyone in your family, diposomania, nobody will know that. So don't use difficult words. And don't ask double-barreled questions. This is a question within a question. Like, how often and how much time do you spend in the computer lab? Every question should be alone, and it should not be one within another. Then, don't ask leading questions. These are questions in which, by their nature, content and structure or wording, leads a respondent to answer in a certain way. Say, for example, unemployment is increasing at a very high rate, isn't it? Smoking is bad for you, isn't it? Those kind of things, because the question is directing the person to the kind of answer to give. That's what we mean that it's leading. So you don't put those kind of questions. The order of the questions also matters. Questions should follow a logical procession based on this objectives of the study, such that one can see how to follow. So when we use a questionnaire, You can use a questionnaire when you want to collect data from a relatively bigger population, when the type of information required is not personal, when it's necessary to protect the privacy of participants, because remember we said that questionnaires have anonymity, so people, you want to get to know who said what. When resources and money are limited, because it's not as resource intensive. Doing interviewing takes more resources than questionnaires. Okay, and then there's more on the type of questions and the responses. So we can have structured or unstructured questions. So structured question can be dichotomous, meaning there are two possible answers. This still falls under the closed-ended questions. Dichotomous in the sense that there are two possible responses, yes or no, true or false. That's closed-ended. Then you can have questions rating scales. For example, rank the candidate in order of preference. So use this kind of questions when you want to know how bad something is. Yes, rank. Give one for worst and then 5 for best, and then somebody can rank. And then we can have several questions that attempt to measure on an interval-like response scale. For example, if you want to know the death penalty is justifiable under some circumstances, do you agree or you don't agree? Answer 1 for strongly disagree to 5. Then a respondent can choose. So now these are the kind of questions you will be putting in your questionnaires. Okay, I have spoken very fast. I don't know if we are following. Okay, so let's watch this video. Okay, we're going to watch it from somewhere in the middle.
Approaches study the stories that individuals provide about their lives and experiences. Methodologies come out of different social sciences. For example, ethnography has its roots in anthropology, while grounded theory got its start in sociological research. Qualitative data are typically obtained from sources such as interviews, focus groups, observations of real-life settings, and existing documents. One study may include data from one, several, or all of these sources. For example, a researcher studying a school environment might observe students as they work on daily tasks in the classroom, including students' reactions to the activities, such as body language and facial expressions. A researcher might interview the teacher and students individually, or as part of a small group, about what they were thinking or feeling during the lessons. She may also examine documents such as student work samples and lesson plans to paint a holistic picture of the educational experience. As you plan your research study, you must create a justification for your data collection methods in order to explain why the methods you propose are the most appropriate and most effective way to understand the phenomenon or focus of your study.
Okay, so the thing is, of the so many methods that we have seen, the data collection methods, you have to design. The designing is or part of the writing with the methodology is to say, why do you want to use observation, or why do you want to use questionnaire? Why do you want to use interviews? What makes the interview special or relevant for your work, like that?
Before you collect any data for your study, you must receive approval from Walden's Institutional Review Board, or IRB. Visit Walden University's IRB website in order to make sure that you obtain the proper permissions to collect and use data. Qualitative data analysis follows 3 basic steps.
Okay, that we shall watch another time. Just wanted you to watch only the data collection method. We shall do the analysis next time. All right, now for the sake, I will do this other topic on Monday. I want to start it on a nice fresh head for all of you. Yes, it's a little bit slightly complicated. But yes, so I shall start it on Monday. For today, let us end here. Unless any other group has some work they want to present. But yes, for today, we shall end here. I'll begin this validation. We shall cover it on Monday. Do I have any questions, or do you have any questions for me? Hi. You all look like that day after in the afternoon classes. Sounds like it looks like you're dozing. Yes, Luis.
Okay, good evening, madam.
Yes.
Me, I'm inquiring about the literature review part.
Okay.
Like you said, the next presentations, we shall be doing literature review. So I was asking if we are going to include that part in our concept paper still.
Yes. Remember, we said we are working on a proposal. So for now, it's like you've been presenting the concept part, but altogether it's a proposal. So all that you've been presenting belongs to chapter 1. Then literature reviews in chapter 2.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so somebody asked me that I said interviewing is more costly compared to questionnaires. Yes, because now by definition, the questionnaire, like you said, you give it to the people, they answer it. They can answer it in their free time, you come back for it. Interviewing in the sense is more expensive in the sense that you have to go there, talk to the people, it has that cost. Questionnaire, you can just send it. You can do it online. That's what I mean. Interviewing has to be done physically. That's what makes it more costly. Okay. All right. Yes. I'll want to start that topic on a Monday. I want it on a, or at least when you're all there.
Madam,
Yes.
let's ask a question.
Yes.
As in, are there factors, okay, the factors that stick when you are choosing a data collection method? For example, when you are collecting something about education, you have to use this one, something about health, you have to use this one, or anything can apply.
Anything can apply. It depends on what you want to know and what you want to do, the nature of the issue. Now, for example, if you're going to ask people something that is sensitive, you need to talk to them and explain it and go about gently in a way that the questionnaire can't. The questionnaire is kind of, it can be, it works well for things which are kind of general. Let's say, for example, if you're going to interview, you want to collect data from prostitutes. That's a kind of thing you want to be there and talk about it, and you have to find all different ways of going about this thing you want to study, and you'd want to talk, as opposed to just give questions. It may not get it for you very well. But if you want to just find out how rich people are, information that is just not so personal, not so, the questionnaires do well. And questionnaires do well if you want to analyze quantitatively. Questionnaires do very well. If you want to analyze qualitatively, interviews do very well, because you want to get rich data. So it really depends on the type of thing that you want to do. Observation is if this thing, you have to see it for yourself to get the data from it. Does that make sense? So it depends. It's not tied to, let's say, saying health or education. No, it's tied to the kind of research that you want to do. Now, the things that I wanted you to have something to submit on Monday, so you have something ready for me. Yes, otherwise you're working on this same document. So even what you've submitted on Mwele, we shall continue with it. So let me even just activate that Mwele, put there what you have, but we are continuing with that same thing. Now I won't ask you to submit a literature review. I'll just wait for the full proposal. Clarissa, have you got your question? Submit what you have now, and it's the same thing you're going to work on until proposal. Yes. Okay, for today, let's end here. If there are no more groups that are presenting, let's end here. Yes, is it possible to completely rely on secondary data? Now, it depends on if that data was first specific to this kind of study. For the concept papers, the deadline has passed. For the literature review, I hadn't put a deadline. So I'm just going to, today is 26th. Let me just give you until Monday. I said the concept papers should be in. Okay, so Jean, to answer your question, it depends on whether that secondary data covers all the things you want to do. So yes, it is possible. If it was rich, full of everything that you want, it's going to answer all your questions. You can use it. Okay. Now, Let me pray and I end this class today and I quickly go to Mwele and I attend to Mwele. All right, so let me pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for our class today. I ask that Lord, you shall protect us, keep all of us safe, keep our country safe, and we'll be able to meet next week. And I thank you for that we have been able to do so far on our concept papers and our concepts. Help us to keep working hard on them and to make good proposals that are researchable and give us good data. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name I prayed. Amen. All right. Amen. This is one of those days I end class early. Okay, so thank you for coming. We shall meet next week.